Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to come on real quick. This is going to be kind of just a chatty video about our last year's homeschool kind of reflections. I realized that I never did it. I had all intention to do it probably in the months of May and June and now July. And it's almost the end of July and we're about to start our next year, so I thought I should probably reflect back on the first year before we move on to this next one. And I am currently laid up in bed because I have a bulging disc, which is more painful than labor, if you know, you know. And it's 101 outside, feels like 107, so might as well be in here talking. So this will just kind of be a chatty video. I think more than anything this year, kind of like the previous year, which is kind of chaotic. We went through major renovations in our house. They're still ongoing. On top of that, with my own health, having some chronic issues pop up and migraines and just inflammatory type things popping up, there were a lot of school days, a lot of school weeks where we just weren't able to do what I had planned. And I don't know, on one hand, I wish I would have given myself the week off or the month off instead of constantly trying to feel like I needed to catch up or squeeze something in here and there. But then at the same time, I don't wish that, because we would have had the whole school year off, because genuinely the whole year was kind of hard. Academically speaking, we went through quite a few changes. So for I guess I'll go per kid because that makes sense to me. For my oldest daughter, we started out in language arts with Good and Beautiful level 4. That ended up not being a great fit for us. And so I moved us to, I don't remember which came first, to be honest. I think maybe after that I moved her to Me Academy, or MI Academy, Me Academy, however you say it. And I moved both of my kids to that for, I think, the month of December, because I couldn't teach anymore. I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the stamina. I was just in too much of my own health world. And then partway through, I switched her to, and again, I don't remember if this came before or after Me Academy, I switched her to Bookshark level 3 language arts and level 4 language arts. That was a better fit. I ended up dropping the writing portion and we just focused on the book portion, and the books were really great and we actually really loved that part of it and just talking about them and discussing them. Sometimes I used the questions that they provided, other times that we just talked about it and I asked her some interesting questions with it, and that ended up being a good thing. And then for writing, eventually I just switched to more of a narration dictation type method for her writing. For math, we started out with, I believe, this seems like an eternity ago, we started out with finishing up CTC, and I had plans to continue that, and then it wasn't a great fit this year, but it was last year. And so I switched her back to Good and Beautiful math at that point, but then we switched to Me Academy for a little bit, and we switched back to Good and Beautiful. Anyway, we ended up finishing Good and Beautiful this year, and I think that was as good of a fit as we can get. I don't know. I've gone back and forth a million times on her academics specifically. But going forward to this next year, I did a whole bunch of research, asked a whole bunch of more knowledgeable homeschool friends than me, and we are going to try Math with Confidence this year. And I've looked through it pretty thoroughly, and I have really high hopes for it. I'm hopeful that it will be a good fit. All the other kind of little subjects stayed pretty much the same. Spelling and handwriting, all that, typing, all of that kind of thing stayed the same. We ended up getting a subscription to the Simply Piano suite of classes. My oldest daughter isn't interested in piano, but she likes doing the singing and the drawing portions. And then one really good switch that we made was changing from History Quest to Bookshark History. And that was a really great fit for us. We loved the book selections, and I loved that it was very discussion based, and the timeline that's included. I have another video on that. I'll try to link it here. I've never done that. It'll, people always point oh, it'll be right here or it'll be right here. So one of those things, I'll try to figure out how to link that I made going in very big detail over our Bookshark experience. We loved it so much so that for next year, spoiler alert, there will be another video on this one coming soon, We will be using Bookshark level D for history for her, Bookshark level A history for my other daughter, and we will be doing the science D and A for both of them as well. So it was a win. And then just kind of as a general for my oldest daughter, I did see improvements, and I saw her stamina increase with our schooling time. She has some special circumstances where schooling is just a little bit trickier for her. She's very intelligent, but it's more of a complicated process for her, we'll say. And I did see some growth in that, some better attention and focus and less emotional breakdowns and things like that. So I feel like that's a pretty good success. I think the overall takeaway that I got from it from her is that I need to scale back and just simplify and really focus on the things that need to be worked on and not a whole bunch of the fluff for her, which is kind of sad because I like the fluff. That's my favorite part. But I think for the amount of time that she can give me the attention that is needed, I think it's better served doing the more purely academic focused things that she will need for future grades. For my middle daughter, I don't even remember where we started. To be honest, I have no idea at this point. It ended up by the end of the year that, like I said, we did switch her to Me Academy at one point, and then between those times I was doing stuff with her, we used a mixture of things for her language arts because she is still learning how to read. She is 7. I believe she's got a little bit of dyslexia happening, so she's a little behind, if you will, on learning to read, but she's making progress, steady progress. We used a combination of All About Reading, Good and Beautiful, K, the Dash into Reading books, and then I pulled a lot of Structured Language Basics program that I used in the classroom. I pulled a lot of that stuff with her, and we played a lot of games, phonemic awareness games, and just those early literacy skills to try to really get those down pat. And she, like I said, she has been making progress. It's just very slow for her, which is a different experience from my first. And that's okay. She'll get there when she's ready. And that's kind of my plan for next year too, is just to keep using a combination of all of those things to get her where she needs to be. Her handwriting is steadily improving. And in math, she did Good and Beautiful level 1. And she did great with it. She's moving on to level 2 next year. And we, like I said, we will add in History A, which is World Cultures, and Science A, which I have done many years ago with my oldest. So thankfully I already had all the materials. And we'll do that. And she's really excited for the experiments, and she's excited for some more nature study, and I think just more one-on-one time with mom and getting that attention, because older sister has kind of gotten most of the attention for a lot of years, and so she's excited for more of that one-on-one time, and so am I. And then the little one, she is 4, so I really don't have anything to report on her. She's still running the house. If you know a 4-year-old, you know what I mean. And, bossing us all around and playing dress up all the time. And she is really excited that she can write her letter. She calls it her name. We'll get packages in the mail and there will be an A on it. And she's like, Mom, it says my name. And it's really cute. But she's excited to learn, and we'll keep doing some gentle stuff with her. In years past, I've used actual curriculums for my kids when they hit this age, and I don't think I will this time. She is genuinely excited for nature study and reading with Big Sissy and all of those things. And we're just gonna embrace that and let that happen, and kind of let seasons dictate and do games and puzzles and learning activities with her as she's interested, but not push formal academics right now at this time. So all in all, this school year has been a mix of up and downs. It was a hard year, and I don't know, with my back being down, I don't know how this next year is going to go. We might be doing a lot of school in mom's bed. Hopefully not. Hopefully it heals before then. But yeah, it was an interesting kind of rough year, and I'm hopeful that next year is better and that I have a good lineup of materials. And like I said, I will be pushing out a video in the next couple of weeks over the materials that we have selected. I've made a couple of shorts with here's how much this costs and stuff, because I thought that would be fun to do a comparison to see how much homeschooling actually costs. And yeah, we'll just kind of take it one day at a time. And I'm reminding myself that this doesn't have to look any one certain way, and that it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's really hard for a perfectionist and a former educator to not hold myself to a very rigorous standard, because in my heart, I know what I want education to look like. And in my head, I have what education has always looked like, And so it's this constant battle of doing what I have experience with versus what I feel is actually really going to be most beneficial in the long run for their development as whole people, not just as brains with bodies walking around. Yeah, so wish me luck. If you're a praying person, pray for my back. If you have like a healing voodoo doll, go ahead. If you I will take anything at this point. I don't care from what faith, from what belief system. I'm tired of being in pain and tired of not having my freedom. And it really sucks, but I'll get there and we will power through. And I still believe in homeschool, and I still believe in the goodness of the world, and hopefully this will all get better soon and this school year will be great coming up. So like I said, this was just a chatty video and not super thorough because apparently I have amnesia and can't remember anything that happened this last school year, but that's okay. That's why I save lots of things and write down what we do, so that if the government comes a knocking, I can show them that we actually did do some things this year, even though I can't obviously remember right now. So I hope you guys are doing great, and I hope you are excited for this next school year and just gearing up for all of the fun times ahead. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.